Cherie Hanson here. I am busily getting ready to go to Japan, uh, Tokyo, Kyoto, and just trying to get all the information in my head. Osaka, I come back from Osaka, and I have noticed something quite clear to myself. I tend to duck and cover for long periods of time. The sense of safety that I keep trying to hide in is repetition, is day in and day out the same. Going after the spider webs close to the ceiling and sweeping the floor and just relying on each day being like the last and the next. And one of the things that happens after I do this long enough is I will erupt. So I'm in the process of erupting. I am going to 3 cities. It's only 9 days, but it's stretching me. It's one of those things that I went from absolute terror to just a state of, all right, you've got some anxiety, you have to deal with it. And as I was watching myself, I'm always observing myself. I am like a scientist looking at the critter and trying to figure out what's going on. I was thinking about how I see people I'm coaching, or I see myself as being able to complete a task, to make art, to do something, to be full of energy and commitment for someone else. I want to talk about this for a minute. When we neglect our own health or our own lives or our own creative projects and just let them lay there and don't pick them up and don't feel inspired to work on them, but we do immediately go after something that we promised to someone else. What I see is that shows me when I do that I've got my arms and legs and maybe my head outside of the canoe. Why do we do that? Well, we do that because we're still relying on the outside world to prove to us that we are valid, that we are worthwhile, that we are someone who can be trusted. We're in a place where we're proving something to someone else. And I think this is just so fascinating. Why is it that we are so quick to prove something to someone else? And I can say for myself, so recalcitrant when it comes to engaging in my own creative activities, in my own attempt to inspire myself, to show myself what I'm made of. It's like you're being judged by a jury, but you're not willing to do the same thing for yourself when there's no panel of judges. You just lay there like a freshly caught fish in the bottom of the boat, back to the boat again. So, we're in a time of great chaos. Today there was a discussion on YouTube about how the fact that we see Africa as having Egypt at the top in the Sudan at the bottom, a case of Eurocentrism. They're showing everything from the point of view of a European looking at African and not at Africa, the African looking at Africa. And I'm just thinking, this is what's happening now. We're being asked to consider so much of what we believe reality from another angle. And I think that's why it's so important for you to figure out what your angle is. What does my reality look at? What is my reality creating? And as I go through this process of getting my trip set up, I'm noticing that there are some rough waves. I can see my mind wanting me to be anxious, not trust myself, double checking, triple checking. What if this fails? What if this doesn't happen? And this comes from simply not trusting that I'm up to it. So what do we do about that? What we do about it is we challenge ourselves. We need to do things that are on the edge of our normal. How else are we going to grow? How else are we going to shift into a higher vibration, a stronger sense of confidence in who we are, unless we challenge ourselves? And so I'm into that again. I looked at the trip in 2024. I went to 9 cities, 3 countries, multiple trains, buses, planes. It was very complex. And yet I didn't miss a single connection. I was not late. I had all my tickets ready. Everything worked. I worked. So why is it that I'm still having trouble trusting myself? And that's the question we come back to. When will I be good enough for me? Stay tuned. Ask yourself the question. What is blocking me? What is in my way? What is it I fear? What is it that I need to do to grow myself bigger and stronger and more confident in my abilities? We need to risk failure in order to grow. We need to get on the edge of our world to find out it's not flat. There are no krakens. We're fine. And so I just wanted to share that with you today because it really came to me that how we can activate ourselves and get something done as long as it pleases someone else, or as long as it will get us into a place where we are respected and loved and hugged and congratulated. But we're sluggish and slow when it comes to doing something that will grow us, that's from inside of us. So look at yourself and ask, how much do I do to seek validation, and how much do I do out of passion for my own person? So think about that. I want to ask you to please subscribe if you want a coaching session so I can set up a contract with you and you to see what steps you're going to take next. Get a hold of me. And I will say to you, as I always do, thank you so much for watching my video. I appreciate you.